Hey there everyone, this is Dr. Cordova. All right, today I'm going to talk about branding. So what is branding and what it represents to me, okay? So as an entrepreneur and specifically doing businesses in the medical field, I learned that branding is very important. When I first started my business, I had no clue what branding meant. I thought it was a nice logo, some nice pictures, slap it on the building and give a good service, and that's basically where it stopped. Really what it comes down to is branding equals outcome. That's really all that matters. You want patients to act on your branding and come into your business, spend money, and come back again. That's really what you want out of branding, okay? So how do you do that? There's so many different ways to brand your business. And the way I think about branding is I go back and I think, when I go into a store or when I go out into the world in general, what makes me want to purchase a particular product or a particular service? So let's take, for example, Jordans, for example, the shoes. So why do people purchase Jordans? They know what they're getting. Two, it's associated with someone who's great at basketball, Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan, by the way, and I've always been a fan. It comes down to they know what they're going to get, they know who in particular it's associated with, and they want to be associated with that particular product, okay? So how do you get that out of a medical business, and how do you reach someone to have a particular outcome, which means they're spending money in your business or basically utilizing your service or product? I think of it as a collective of things, okay? It's part of your logo. It's part of your employees, the way they treat and act towards patients. It's the way you act as a business owner, talking about your business, handling problems or complications within your business, handling just a variety of issues with your employees, patients, or whoever it happens to be. It's another thing, specifically how your business looks. So does it look nice? Is it kept up? Is it clean? Your service in particular, is it better than others? Is it understood exactly what they're getting? Do you give a lot of education in terms of teaching what your product is and how to use it, and basically using it specifically to those particular patients? It's about the intake process, getting their full medical history and understanding that specific patient's medical perspective and giving them a treatment specifically for them. Your advertising, it's about your marketing, it's about your social media and the way you come across to the world, it's about your videos, it's about the way you handle people over the phone, it's about the way your website looks, it's about every single possible thing you could think of creates that branding. So a person wants to know, hey, am I going to be coming back to this business? Did I get what I wanted out of there? I want to be associated with this particular service or product, okay? That's really what it comes down to. So outcome equals money, okay? So you want to create the best outcome for your patients. Well, that's basically what's going to help you skyrocket your sales, okay? You have to look at it from different perspectives, the way people come across to you as a customer, okay? When you first open a business, you have no branding, there's no awareness, and there's no understanding of who you are as a brand or basically what you are as a business. Everything that you do, you have to think of it from different perspectives. As one, a new person who's never seen you before. Two, a reoccurring customer. Or three, someone who's a member or someone that's always coming to your business. You want to come across as a great brand, and you want to come across as professional, the best you possibly can, so that way you can maintain those relationships and get new relationships from even being associated with those particular patients or whoever you happen to do business with, okay? So one, you want to have a really nice professional logo, because that's the first thing customers are going to see. It's a reputation and it's a perception that people, as a feeling. So what does that person feel when they see your particular branding? Do you have a story for your business? The background of your employees? Who's the business owner? What particular services do you offer, and why do you offer these particular services? How are you going to help me as a customer feel better or basically want to utilize your service? You have to answer all these questions through branding. You should start with a nice logo, for one, because a logo is something that the person first sees, okay? And you want to associate all your products with a particular image or professionalism or whatever happens to be. So I tell people, the name doesn't necessarily matter, but it does in some sense. You don't want to name your business the same thing as 50 other businesses, because it's going to be harder to distinguish. So you want to try to find something unique. You want to find something that looks nice visually, something that's easy to read, and something that comes across as professional, because as a medical business, you are a professional. Let's say, for example, a medical business has their kid draw their logo. As a new customer, you're gonna see that, and you might say, oh, that's cute, but do I really trust this company to do medical services on me if that's what they choose as their logo? So you have to think about all these different things, okay? So I like it just to be clean, nice, readable, something that's a little bit different from other companies in the area, and something that's easily visualized and people are able to say, hey, this is associated with this particular company, okay? So logo does matter. It does matter in terms of your employees, so make sure you treat them and train them the best you possibly can. So create a whole process, say, hey, you need to do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever it happens to be. That way the process is always the same and it's easily known by the customer what's going to happen each time they come in, okay? So it's better to teach your employees and make sure that that process is easy to understand and it's repeatable. If you create this process, just make sure you go over it over and over again with your employees and make sure it's being done the way you want it, simply because that particular roadmap of basically what's going to happen at your business does play a big role in terms of customers coming back because they know exactly what they're going to get. That will constantly change over time, so you'll see what customers like, what they don't like, and you could change that process and it'll slowly evolve as you become more mature of a business. But it's constantly evolving. So branding is constantly evolving in different many ways, okay? So if it's not working for you, you gotta change it up, you gotta learn something new and try something different, okay? I like to test different things and I like to see what works. And really what works means that you're making more money, more patients are coming back, and people enjoy your service, okay? That's all that really matters in terms of branding. So you're constantly improving that process specifically to improve income for your business, okay? So strong branding is something that will boost your business in different many ways. So like I mentioned, so train your employees well, create a process, create a nice logo, create professional, nice pictures, make sure your building or wherever you offer your services at is well kept, make sure it's clean, make sure it's nice. This will constantly evolve as you get better as a business. So sometimes people don't have the financial means to create a super nice business or environment, but as time goes on, make sure you work on that, make it better, make it improved with lighting, art, make sure that the signs that you have are nice. Do anything you possibly can to make that environment as comfortable as possible for the patient, okay? And don't be afraid to ask patients or ask customers, like, hey, what do you think about this place? What do you think it needs? What do you think it's lacking? You'll get a lot of good feedback by doing that, okay? So another thing is handling customers that have a bad experience. So make sure that any customer that has a bad experience, that you as a business owner specifically reach out to them and handle that particular problem to make sure that they're happy so that you get their business again, okay? So in the medical field, there's many things that could go wrong. For example, in my IV business, people could get bruising. Sometimes people could have a little bit of blood spilt on their shirt or something. Sometimes they may have a bad experience because they're not able to get an IV on them. They could have some kind of reaction to a particular product, even though I haven't had that. But if they do, just make sure you handle it and show your professionalism as a physician or as a business owner, and make sure that that person gets the right treatment and make sure they're doing okay after, okay? So I want you to make sure that you reach out to every single patient, get feedback from every single one. I like to send out a review text message to all my patients after their visit just to get a good understanding of how their visit went. I used to think of bad reviews. I used to come across them and my perception was just that they don't like my business or whatever happens to be. But I actually like negative reviews simply because it helps me improve, okay? So whenever some customer has a bad experience, you think of different ways. You're like, hey, how could I make this experience better for this particular patient, okay? So I didn't even think about these things when I first started. Little things like, getting some ice packs, getting some warming packs, getting some pillows, getting some blankets, getting some foot covers for the massage chairs, getting little sanitizers, getting bottled water, getting face masks, getting all kinds of different things. All these things I learned basically through experience. So when you first start, your branding will be very weak. It'll be the weakest point in your business when you first start, okay? But as you mature as a business, that branding will grow, okay? It'll grow with you and you'll start to understand what branding means, okay? So it's basically the reputation that you have as a business and that perception that's coming across as a customer towards your business, okay? Don't be afraid to ask customers how they feel about it, what they think about it visually, what they see, and compare it to other businesses and why they chose you over someone else, okay? And constantly learn and adapt to change that brand to create the best outcome for your business. So I also like to think of branding as a culture, simply because in your business, how are things going to be handled? How are things done at your business? What they're going to get, what they see visually, the education that they're getting about a particular service or product. And there's so many other things that go into branding. In future videos, I'll go into the specifics of each little niche of basically what I think branding is and how I offer it in terms of my business. I'll try to teach you as much as I possibly can about that particular process of intake, the employees, particular portrayal of the services, how you handle different complications with employees or patients, how you do every single thing in your business. And I just want you to think about branding in the very most simple aspect. When you go out into the world, what do you think and what makes you buy that particular product? And think of the big brands. Think of, Nike, think of Gatorade, think of Jordans, think of Apple, think of whatever big brand that comes to your mind. Think about it deep and say, hey, how do I make this feeling come across from my particular medical service, and how is it going to have an impact on that patient to come back again, okay? And how's that particular impact or outcome going to make me more money as a business owner, okay? All I could tell you is that it's a constantly changing process and things change over time, and patients do see the effort that you put in to your particular product. They see the education that you're giving them. They see the effort that you put into your advertising. They see the effort that you put into offering your service, your logo, your videos, your everything. Don't hesitate to ask for advice from different people if you don't know what branding is. I'm happy to answer some questions if you have any particular thing that you want to go over. If you want me to take a look at your brand, your website, or whatever happens to be, I'm happy to just take a quick glance at it and see how it comes across to me as a new customer. I've learned a lot of things, and I wish I could tell you every single thing there is about branding, but it really comes down to you as a business owner and what's going to make you more money and what works for your particular niche in your particular town, in your particular state, or wherever you happen to be, okay? So there's not a right answer for every single thing, but you'll just have to see what works over time. And I'm telling you, think about every single stage in the process of your business. Think of the way it's coming across to every single person and try to act on those things, okay? And try to constantly change to improve that feeling that people get to understand what your brand means, okay? So that's my little spiel on branding. I know it's kind of a little bit generalized, and I'll get into specifics a little bit more here a little bit later in future videos, but just to give you a broad understanding of what my perspective is on branding, it just means that there's branding that makes more money for your business. So there is good branding and there is bad branding. So there is a difference between, good advertisement and good branding, and bad advertisement and bad branding, and all these different mix of the two. But you'll have to start to realize that you can't make every single person happy, and the branding is not going to work on every single person, but you need to try your best to affect the majority of people that are going into your business and basically spending money, and figure out a way to attract those people just to come back again, okay? So you'll learn this and you'll see what works, what doesn't. You'll understand what good branding is and bad branding is. And it's really just a trial and error is really comes down to. And you'll learn in your business that some things work. Sometimes you'll come across something, you're like, this is gonna work. I love this idea. And then it just falls flat. And then there's things that you try and they work for your business. You have to constantly try new things. You have to focus on what works. so much information just flowing at people at all times, and you'll have to see what works specifically for your business, okay? So just think of branding a lot when it comes to your business, and make sure you build your brand to who you want to be, and make sure you build a brand that makes money, okay? And produces outcomes. Anyways, that's my spiel on branding, but if you have any questions, reach out to me. All right, bye.